Welcome to Concurrent Session 2, Track 2, Supporting Working Carers. I'm Rachel Matheson with Carers New South Wales Carers and Employers Project. I'll be introducing the presentations for this session. And first up, I'd like to introduce Brigitte Fairbank, who is the Chief People Officer at the New South Wales Department of Communities and Justice. Brigitte will be presenting on carers at work, supporting wellness, careers and flexibility for carers at Communities and Justice. Thank you, Brigitte.
Thanks, Rachel, and thanks so much for the warm welcome. Hello, everyone. The first thing I'd like to do is to pay my respects to the traditional owners of land on which we all meet today, including me from my study cupboard in southwestern Sydney. So I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders attendees that we have today. Hello, I'm absolutely privileged to be here today to talk a little bit about carers in the workplace. Where I want to start with is why I'm so passionate about this particular topic is I'm a carer. I'm a carer to a 19-year-old child, well, semi-adult, we'll go with that, who at 8 was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, at 10 diagnosed with autism. And from there, we've struggled with a whole range of different mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. So lots of ups and downs, lots of challenges, lots of incredibly happy moments as well. Nothing I wouldn't change, but it's not easy. It's not easy being a carer. And something I rely on is my personal network with other carers and that ability to be able to connect and that ability to be able to listen and hear their stories. And really have used this sort of insight and the great experience of my team to really try and build that visibilities of carers in the workplace and the needs that they have. So today I want to talk a little bit about what's important to carers in the workplace and what can you do to really bring their stories forward, because they're to be celebrated, they're to be supported, and they're an integral part of any organisation. If we can just go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the first thing I want to talk about is well-being. And one of the things that we've needed to do, and what's really important for a carer and as a carer, is I have to look after myself to be able to look after my daughter. So the key thing is really around making sure that in the workplace, you're providing those sort of centric, accessible, sort of wellness options that people can tap into. And I think what's really important that you have different products and services that people can use to customise to meet their needs. So we've recently developed My Healthy Workplace, a wellbeing strategy. And the great thing in collaborating to develop this strategy, we looked at it through a number of lenses. We have lots of different diversity groups in our organisation, and the important thing for us was to really ensure we captured their perspective, their needs, and that we designed a lot of our solutions to be able to support those different perspectives. What I really love about our wellness strategy is that it's holistic. It places people at the centre of wellness and caters for every aspect of their humanness. So we look at, their career, their emotional well-being, their social well-being and that ability to connect, their financial well-being and also their physical well-being. And all of these different aspects are important. And I can tell you in conversations I have with my own personal carers network, we're always talking about, how can we afford to give that opportunity to who we're caring for, to give them access to different services or to help them connect? How do I keep myself physically fit to be able to do this job? We're always talking around these different things. And something we just launched quite recently was a wellness app. And I have to tell you, I've been diving in and having a look at my wellness plan. I haven't been really sleeping a lot, so I've cut down on tea after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and really have tapped into some of their podcasts and also some of their exercise plans, which have been really helpful. Because if I don't take that time out to really make sure I'm healthy and well, and this is one of the key messages we have for all of our carers, then it's really difficult then for you to also be an effective carer. You have to refuel, you have to take that. You really do have to take that time. And we're going to continue to work with carers as one cohort and lots of other cohorts in our organisation to make sure that we're catering for them as a whole person. Now, having a think about the next thing that's really important around this, when we look at it, it's really having a look at how do we support carers flexibly, because you need that flexibility not only to be able to manage your whole person, but to also do your job, be a carer, and there's many other roles that carers play as well as, you know, in their lives. So if we can move to the next slide. Thank you. So something that's really important is around increasing that visibility and support for carers at work. So look, in conversations with carers, we understand that they do have a great need for flex. And it might be everything from part-time hours, flexibility when they have their lunch break, all sorts of different things. And how do you cater for that? One of the things we've pulled together is a principles-based flexibility framework, which really focuses on what's the outcome that a team need to deliver, and then really considers the customer, the team, and the needs of the individual. Now, the aim is to really promote robust discussion within the team to have a look at how we can best plan for and put together an approach that caters for flexibility needs of everyone who's in that team, still focused on customers, still focused on the outcome. Now, this plan is put in place and it's subject to ongoing conversation. So it's really keeping flexibility at the forefront of how you do business, of how you run your team, of how you have those conversations on a weekly, monthly basis, and how you continue to work together to deliver for your customer. And from a carer perspective, it's being able to have that voice. It's being able to say, hey, feel comfortable to say, as a whole person, I've got care responsibilities, these are my needs, and how can we work that into the plan? And look, I think during COVID, the whole paradox of COVID is that it's really made working from home, it's really sort of normalised working from home. But working from home isn't flexibility. So I actually think we've missed this opportunity to have some really great, robust discussions about flexibility, especially at a frontline level. So I'm really excited for us to keep using this principles-based framework to really drive that really intense conversation around flexibility and what that could mean. And it'll look different for every team in different contexts. A couple of the other things that really help support career, as Flex does, is we're looking at different things like job share. Something we hear from our carers is that, if I need to go part-time, what are my options? How can I look at that? So we've set up a job share platform which helps individuals connect with other people in the organisation with like capabilities, with like career plans, and really helps them package up and have a look at what could be our career options, and then starting to link them with different career options so we can start to spread the great word about job share. And job share is a really valuable opportunity, I think, to have, evaluating career, but to also be able to do different jobs and to be mobile, which is important for a carer. They need to have those career options. The other thing we've done is we've really launched a Parents and Careers Hub and Carers Hub. We've partnered with Grace Papers, who's an amazing organisation in this space. And really what you'll find on this hub is resources, tools, capability build, lots of different preparation and transition programs, supporting new parents, whether you're having a baby, adopting, going on parental leave, fostering, all sorts of different scenarios, as well as supporting managers to be able to have the right conversations with employees who are working through these sort of care arrangements. And then more recently, we've broadened it to really embrace all types of care, whether you're caring for children, parents, friends, doesn't matter. There's really some really great resources and some really great, as I said, sort of training opportunities available through this hub. And Prue Gilbert from Grace Papers will be on Twitter following this amazing conference, #GraceCares. So if you want to tap into Twitter and think about your questions, Prue will be open to really taking you through how you could use this tool and how this could work. It's really worked for us. and it's simple, it's accessible. And I know I just stepped through recently. I've been sort of struggling with the whole juggle between caring, working from home, and creating space. And I worked through a great webinar which gave me a couple of really good tips around how I keep that balance and how I keep that going, which is really great. I think if we move to the next slide, thanks. So the next thing is, and I've talked a little bit about my personal network, which I've been really sort of quite strategic about building over the last 10 to 15 years, because for the first sort of couple of years as a carer, you know, in addition to being a parent of a child with special needs, it can be a really lonely game. And it really is important that you connect with other people, you know, who might have different stories, but who understand and empathise, you know, where you're at, and when you're having a great day, and when you're having a not so great day. It's also really helped me formulate my story in the workplace. So something that we wanted to do was to provide an opportunity in the workplace for carers to come together. We have a range of other diversity sort of networks. We have a disability employee network, an LGBTIQ+ network, a range of different things, but we didn't really have something in place for carers. So we're launching next week, which is really exciting. We've got a few members so far, and I'm the corporate sponsor, I'm the exec sponsor, and also champion of all things carer in the workplace. And we're inviting people to come along and, in the first instance, just connect and really tell their story, and to share that in a really safe place where there'll be lots of compassion, lots of empathy, and lots of like experience. And I also think lots of great advice and feedback. I've certainly benefited from some great advice and feedback. We also invest in the network. So we invest $10,000 a year, and that's really to try and help with, you know, the membership of the committee and of the network, awareness sessions, building capability. And I think in this case, it'll be, how do we bring those carer stories to life? How do we help leaders in the organisation understand the profile of a carer and what they might need? And it really helps the leaders step back and look at the person as a whole person and what their different needs might be. So I'm really looking forward to that group coming together, us formulating what our strategy might be, how we bring the secret life of carers to, you know, to the forefront in the organisation, and continue to enhance and build on that particular profile and understanding across the Department of Communities and Justice. It'll be really important to also use that forum as a collaboration forum from an organisational perspective. This is where we'll go with policies, programs, that type of thing, to make sure that we're looking at different things through the lens of a carer, as we do with our other diversity networks, because the carer have a unique perspective that we need to consider and leverage. So that's the other piece that I think is really valuable about creating that network. And again, it might just be about a cup of tea, a good chat, and some peer support. Even at a minimum, if we do that, I think the network will be incredibly successful. We can just move to the next slide. Thank you. So I think finally, in sort of really bringing to the front that, you know, carers in the workplace need that acknowledgement, you know, need that support, you know, need that enablement through different things in the workplace. It's really important that we have that visibility and profile. So something we've worked through is the Commit accreditation with carers and employers, and we just recently attained level 2. And this is something that you can use in your advertising, you know, when you go to market, to say we're a carers accredited workplace, so we want to listen to your story, we want to understand your needs. But I think it's also we also use the experience as a great way to review all of the things that we had in place. Was it enough? did it work? So through the evidence gathering that you go through for accreditation, and you have a really good look at things like where leaders have driven support for carers, how we've created a carer-friendly culture, how do we provide support, how do we include our carers. We look at our policies, processes, options that support flexible work, and a variety of other, sort of support for carers around wellness, reducing stress, and how we support them juggle, their work and their job and, their care accountabilities. And then most importantly, recognition of carers and how we can collaborate and consult with them around these different things that we try and put in place through, through the workplace. So I do think that this is quite important. Look, I encourage you to have a look. If nothing else, what it does is it gives you a great baseline and a great valuation around what you have in place and some of the opportunities that you might have to improve the environment for carers in the workplace. But it's a great thing to do. So in wrap up, when I think about myself as a carer, the journey that I've been on, and the amazing opportunity I've had to meet other carers and understand the journey they've been on, what's integral to a workplace is really looking at how do you place the carer, the human, at the centre of, wellness initiatives to make sure that they've got access to the right support, to make sure they've got access to the right services that help them keep well. So that they can continue to do their job, but also carry out their role as a carer. The next thing is really having a look at how do you support them in their role and in their job and in sort of planning for their career. So having a look at things around flexibility. What flexibility do you have in place? How do you work with carers to understand what their needs are? How do you support job share, part-time, different hours, working from different locations, working from home? How do you make sure that they're still engaged and connected with their work group while you do that? Because that's incredibly important. And then using things, whether you use a parents and carers hub, but using things to make sure you've got resources, tools to help managers have the right conversations, but to also help carers be able to feel comfortable in telling their story and raising the fact that they have needs and need to work through, different things, or might need something different through their role or through their working arrangement. And then finally, find a way to connect them. Bring their stories to the surface, share those stories, but give them a place to go where they can connect in the workplace and go, I'm not the only other carer here. There are lots of other carers that, colleagues and people that I work with. And this is a safe place I can go to be listened to, and also to listen to their journey and hopefully perhaps share some of my experience and some tips and advice that I might have. And then working together around how can we build that visibility and build some of that capability to really support carers in the workplace. And finally, if you have a go at the accreditation with carers and employers, because it's a really great way to evaluate where you are and where you want to go. Thank you. Now, I'm happy to answer any questions that might come up.
Thank you so much, Brigitte. I think you've done such a brilliant job that we have. We've got some really great comments coming in, and a lot of people are highlighting some of those key points you made about sharing carer stories, about
Sure.
the leader-led support and leader-led sharing of stories, how important it is to protect the careers and support the careers of carers and the innovative ways in which you are doing that. So I think you've done a brilliant job in terms of sharing with those joining us today, and setting a great example for other employers too about some of the things that can be done to support carers in the workplace. So my thanks to you.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, everyone.